As for the idea that they let it happen, yes, do they have incredible technology? Do they have incredible intelligence? All of those things. The idea that they let 1,000 of their citizens, young people particularly, just get slaughtered for some political purpose is so counter to the entire driving force behind the nation, and it's nothing other than a crazy conspiracy theory. Even as good systems as you have related to security and walls and technology and everything else, bad things happen. We had 9/11 happen. We didn't expect people to hijack planes and fly them into buildings. So look, if you, again, people should go down there or just see videos. The fence that they had that separated Israel between Gaza was literally, it was a chain link fence that you would have to keep at a dog park with a little bit of barbed wire. And then they literally were, the irony of what happened that day was that many of the people who lived in the South they call it the Gaza envelope, like right around Gaza, they were all lefties. They were peaceniks who wanted to live near Gaza to coexist. So a lot of the people that killed them on that day literally worked in their homes and farms. We know that because they put numbers on the doors of their houses to tell them how many people lived in each house, because they knew the exact maps because they literally lived there. So the idea that they let it happen is first off, there's literally no evidence of it. I think it was just a horrific breakdown of intelligence and everything else. And it's just so cynical. It's just kind of beyond the pale, I would say. The second one, as far as did they fund any of it, one of the things in the Middle East, but in most parts of the world, you sometimes have to make deals with bad people. So once Hamas took over, they knew they were a genocidal organization, but they never fully went in and destroyed them, because it was kind of like every couple of years, we know they're going to shoot rockets at us, and you kind of cut the grass and you just hope that it doesn't leak into our borders. But that they were funding them, no, they weren't funding them at all. And then, sorry, what was the third one?
Well,
the Greater Israel thing is just like a complete
What is
concoction.
that? Can you
It's just,
Dave, it's like on one hand it's biblical, on the other hand it's ideological. Then I'm sure, somebody you and I both know has said, oh, it's the Likud party charter and there's a vision. But the thing is, Dave, I actually don't know if this is true or not. I'm being honest.
Jillian,
and they're going to take Turkey and they're going to take Egypt, and this is what they want. And Netanyahu, in all transparency, doesn't seem like, there's a healthy criticism there. So what is this? What is the Greater Israel Project? Is this real?
First off, it's largely just like a complete fabrication. Again, I think in post, you should put up a map of the Middle East. Look at the size of Turkey, and then look at the size of Israel. Look at the size of Israel versus any other nation. Before October 7th, there was not one mainstream Israeli politician that wanted to go back into Gaza or anything else. Like, there just literally was nobody.
Because that's absolutely the story. You know that, obviously. You've seen all of it. It's like they did this on purpose because this is what they wanted. Because this is the Greater Israel Project, and the Greater Israel Project is take parts of everyone's land. And
it's just utter nonsense. I can assure you, having been to Israel many times, having seen lefty governments, again, it's hard to understand. They're an actual democracy like the United States. So they swing left and then they swing right. You have governments that want peace. You have governments that just want to separate. You have a panoply of ideas that come in and out of government. Netanyahu himself has had to govern with, he's been in power for a long time. He's had to govern with coalitions that were all over the place. Sometimes that were a little more left, sometimes that were a little more right. There is literally nobody in mainstream Israeli politics that before October 7th was like, let's go back into Gaza. Again, they took everybody out. It was not, they ripped people out of their homes. So why is it that 2 million Palestinian Arabs should live in Israel as equal citizens, but not one Jew should live in Gaza? Not one, really, in effect, not one Christian that really wants to practice Christianity freely, again, or go to the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, and figure out why the Christian population of Bethlehem has dropped something like 80% since the 90s when the Palestinians took over. There's only one place in the Middle East really where Christians are flourishing, and that's Israel proper. So anyway, we can go through like a lot of the conspiracy theories on all of these things, but that's mostly what they are.
The problem is I get them on one side and I have no idea what that person's talking about. I'm like, well, I've never heard that before. I'm going to have to. And my goal, honestly, is just to try to be transparent with the viewer. I don't have any agenda. I want them to educate themselves. I want them to hear all points of view. I want them to do their own homework. And the reason I'm so deeply concerned is because A, people are dying, and B, the rise of antisemitism is terrifying. Under the pretense of we're criticizing a government. It's like, in many people are. And I understand that. A woman came up to me yesterday in a car park, Dave, Israeli, in tears. And she was like, we feel like we're alone. We can't wear our Star of David. We can't travel around the world. And she said, not all of us agree with Netanyahu, which goes to show me she doesn't even agree with Netanyahu and she feels afraid. And I'm trying so hard to stop the hatred on all sides, at least do my part to not make it worse. And I think by being honest and not going after clickbait. Cooler days call for layers that last, and Quince is my go-to for quality essentials that feel cozy, look refined, but won't blow your budget. Think $50 Mongolian cashmere, premium denim that fits like a dream, luxury outerwear that you can wear year after year, because these are the pieces that turn into your fall uniform. I'm personally eyeing the wool coats because they look designer level, but they cost a fraction of the price. And honestly, the quality is just as good, if not better. And the way they do this is that they directly go to top tier ethical factories and they cut out the middlemen. So they deliver luxury quality pieces at half the price of similar brands. It's the kind of upgrade with your wardrobe that feels smart, stylish, and effortless. I find my fall staples at Quince, and you can go to quince.com/Jillian for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Jillian to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Jillian. And that's something that you and I both, I mean, you have a huge platform, but that's something that you and I both hold dear, I think. And, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking you to speak to these things, because people hear them and they believe them and they don't do the homework. And to be honest, from the outside, you don't know if it's true or not. That's the reality.
There's a couple of things going on here. First off, I am not someone, I mean, people could look at my show for over a decade and see how many times I outright called someone like a full-on anti-Semite or a full-on racist or something like that. And it's very, very rare that I do that. Now, there is something particularly unique in this situation in that before the state of Israel, there was something called the Holocaust. And before that, there were pogroms. And before that, there was the Spanish Inquisition. And we can keep going through these things. So before the state of Israel existed, it was not particularly good for the Jews. It's good till it's not, right? So the hatred that used to just go to these individual people or these groups of people living in these other countries has just been projected onto Israel. So there is something about a specific type of hatred, right? And there's a reason. I mean, the left loves victims. Israelis are not victims. They're supposed to be victims because of the history of the Jewish people, but they fight and they survive and they thrive, actually. And so it doesn't really fit the intersectional calculator. But I would say the other part as it pertains to the clickbait and all that stuff is there's a crazy amount of money to be made here as well. That is just the fact. Like the amount, it's not even money, it's money and fame, because the amount of bots and foreign manipulation that's happening on X and that's going through all of the algorithms and that's going through TikTok and brainwashing all of these people. By the way, in Charlie's letter that now has been published that he wrote to Netanyahu, he was worried about that. As a defender of Israel, he's saying, you guys, your eye is not on this. Now, I would say that mostly it's because Israelis are focused on surviving and living normal lives, so they're not always worried about what the rest of the world thinks of them. But look, you can just think back to less than 2 years ago, because it's almost the second anniversary of October 7th. There was about a 2-day window where everybody was like, oh my God, our sympathies are with Israel. Oh my God, oh my God. But everyone also knew that 2 more days and it was all going to turn. And that's what happened. And that's what Hamas played on. They played on a bunch of sort of willful dingbats who, if anyone, if Dave Smith or any of these people, if your wife was murdered and your daughter was kidnapped and they burned down your neighbor's house with his children in it, and we can go through all the things. And by the way, I've seen the 47-minute video that they don't publicly show. I went to an Israeli military base and saw it. And trust me, seeing the guy that was beheaded while the Hamas guy smiled, that was not the worst of it. It was worse than that. I assure you, that was not the worst part of it.
Cooler days call for layers that last, and Quince is my go-to for quality essentials that feel cozy, look refined, but won't blow your budget. Think $50 Mongolian cashmere, premium denim that fits like a dream, luxury outerwear that you can wear year after year, because these are the pieces that turn into your fall uniform. I'm personally eyeing the wool coats because they look designer level, but they cost a fraction of the price. And honestly, the quality is just as good, if not better. And the way they do this is that they directly go to top tier ethical factories and they cut out the middlemen. So they deliver luxury quality pieces at half the price of similar brands. It's the kind of upgrade with your wardrobe that feels smart, stylish, and effortless. I find my fall staples at Quince, and you can go to quince.com/Jillian for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure to let me know what guests you want to see on in the future.